Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Hello everyone and welcome to Joke at the Oak with the Writers Society spooky Halloween gig. Hello everyone. So admittedly we will be short on the spook this evening, I think. We were planning to dress up, but I guess that never happened. Thanks everyone. I'm the only one that came in costume. Anyway, we've got a couple of stand-up acts for you, and a couple of pieces of writing performed by members of the Writers Society, and then we're going to do a little improv, and then we're going to have some long-form improv for you after that. So I'm not going to waste much of your time, because we've got a packed gig full of content. But what I'd like you to do first, because we're running incredibly low on spook, as I've already mentioned. So I want to get a bit spooky in here if I can. So can I just get some ooze from like the back section? Just some spooky ooze, please. Come on. So that'll freak you out. Can we have the ooze again? But can we have some booze from over here? Some ooze and some booze. No, not boomy. Booze like a ghost. Boo! 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 Certainly, yeah. Yeah, there's one of you doing it. Yeah, and the ooze. And some, some over here as well, please. Come on. All together, booze. Okay, stop, it's getting too spooky. Okay, please, welcome to the stage. The first stand-up of today, this is Tom Longmore.
It's not one of these stories is a little bit spooky. It's more so painful for you guys to experience, I think. So basically, I'm not very good at flirting. I'm not that bad at flirting over the internet. Flirting over the internet reminds me of doing coursework. Either I can take a break whenever I want, get a drink, or I spend 10 minutes just writing the same sentence over and over again. Flirting face to face is a completely different story, though. Whenever I'm flirting face-to-face, I feel like I'm doing mental arithmetic under time pressure. Either I say something wrong, or I don't say anything at all. I just sort of freeze up. Eventually she gets uncomfortable and leaves, and then I start reading again. I was flirting once with this girl I met over the internet, and things were escalating. Well, they weren't escalating that quickly, but for me they were escalating pretty quickly. Let me try and give you guys some context. So basically, she'd been a naughty girl. Cringe warning, by the way. Cringe warning. Like I said, she'd been a naughty girl. And myself, I was the protagonist of the tale. I was there to put a stop to her disobedient behaviour one way or another. Things went back and forth a little bit more, to the point where I ended up saying, if you don't start behaving soon, I'm going to punish you. Which she responds, how will you punish me? I did not see that coming. She called my bluff there a little bit. So basically up until that point I'd just been sort of vaguely referring to things and using metaphors. Dirty details are a little bit outside of my expertise. But you know, if she wants a punishment, I'll give her a punishment. So in the space of 2 minutes I type out this thick, sinful paragraph of filth. I don't want her to think that I'm a complete animal, so I read over the obscene message to check for spelling mistakes. No, there were no spelling mistakes, fortunately, that's all good. Oh, that bit looks a bit graphic. And that. And that. Oh well, I hope she's into it. Send. Yeah, I say something a little bit explicit, and she feels the need to flat out stop talking to me. Like, she doesn't say, that was a bit weird. She doesn't say, what the fuck was that? She doesn't say, I'm calling the police. None of that. Just a day goes by, and then finally when she recovers from the shock, she decides to block me. But you know, it wasn't all that bad. I mean, I learned a lesson. Don't do that. More recently, I was talking to a different girl over the internet. I actually met her in person, and she was really sweet. She's very genuine, and she reads books for fun. Oh, so sexy. Yeah, so I was talking to her, I ended up in the exact same problem. I'm going to punish you. How will you punish me? Oh, shit. How did I not see that? But this time I thought it through a little bit. I was thinking, okay, let's not be too hasty. Either I can say something risky and potentially scare her off like the last one, or I can say something really safe and boring, but I'll probably end up disappointing her. It's not a difficult decision. Disappointing women is more my style. Yeah, so I type out, oh, I'm going to hold you down and kiss you. And I felt terrible saying something so pathetic. So I tagged this on the end. But if you still don't learn your lesson, then your next punishment will be much more severe. Trying to get back some of my dignity. And she responds word for word with this. That doesn't sound like much of a punishment. Would a more severe punishment be like some sort of jigsaw stuff? I didn't get it. I was like, what? Does she think I'm going to force her to solve a jigsaw puzzle or something? Like, no. So I Googled the words jigsaw punishment, and I'm like, oh, this girl's fucked up. Yeah, so apparently, for those of you know, Jigsaw is the main protagonist of the Saw film franchise. He traps people in what are called the Saw games. Has anyone here ever been to an escape room? Give us a wave, a shout. A couple of you. Okay. So basically, the Saw games are rather like escape rooms, except you lose limbs instead of friends. Yeah, and if you don't escape, then you die horrifically. Obviously, at the time, I didn't know this, but I still wanted to give her the Saw themed. Saw themed punishment that she so dearly desired. So I put the conversation on hold. I walked away. I watched the first 3 Saw films, and then I came back well versed in Jigsaw's fiendish methods. I hope that this girl's worth the nightmares. Yeah. So I actually type out this message. Quite often his punishments have a sort of theme, so I thought I'd give that a go. You like reading books so much? Well, I'm going to make you listen to an audiobook. You wake up in the center of an abandoned construction site. You are trapped in a small room with tall concrete walls, a heavy door, and an unfinished ceiling. Your arm is chained to a nearby iron support beam. I have given you a bone saw as a present, winky face. You are listening to an audiobook which is playing the last 3 chapters of that book you just started. If you do not escape the room by the time the last chapter is finished, then thousands of books will fall from the ceiling and you will be crushed. You have wasted your life devouring books. Today, the books devour you. Are you turned on yet? Question mark. Yeah, so I think I care too much about what women say about me. Basically, girls often call me cute. I don't like it. I'm not bragging. Like, I used to think that cute was a good thing. I was like, oh, she called me cute. She must like me. No, she doesn't like me. Whenever a girl calls me cute, it just means that she's mistaken me for a puppy. I'm not a puppy. And sometimes it gets even worse. Sometimes, whenever I'm talking, whenever I'm talking and I say something vaguely sensitive, a girl will interrupt me by saying, aw, bless, that's so cute. I hate that. That's like a verbal assault on my masculinity. I feel real physical changes whenever I hear that. Whenever I hear, aw, bless, that's so cute. Like, my voice raises an octave. I forget how to cook on a barbecue. And my dick shrinks by an inch. Like, who does she think she's talking to? I'm a man. I eat dirt and spit battery acid. I weld things together and then I tear them apart. I go out drinking and get into fights with other dirt-eating men. I break noses and lose teeth. Then we all sit down together and have a pint. We laugh whilst talking about the craziest bitches we fucked. And then we go home and cry whilst watching the Titanic. Yeah, well, some women do see me for the man that I am. I'll tell you who. When I was 19, I went to a supermarket, went down an aisle. All of a sudden, this small girl sort of blocked me. I couldn't get through. She must have been around 5 years old. Her mother was distracted with some rice. So I just sort of wait around. Eventually, her mum turns around and notices me. So I give her a smile, like that. A smile which says, "Hello, I'm terribly sorry to bother you. I'm just trying to get past, but unfortunately I can't because of your sweet, adorable mistake." So she turns down to her daughter and says, "Susie dear, come on now. Let the nice man get by." I heard this and I was absolutely shocked. Let the nice man get by? That was the first time in my life that anyone had ever called me a man. Not counting my mum. Yeah, so this has happened to me several times, and they always call me a nice man. I mean, do they have to call me a nice man? How about, "Susie dear, come on, let the handsome man get by." "Susie dear, come on, let the irresistible man get by." Or, "Susie dear, come on, let the dominant man get by." No, always nice. I don't like nice. I already know that I'm nice. You can only face rejection so many times before coming to the conclusion that you're just too fucking nice. Yeah, but the only thing I dislike more than being called nice and being called cute is when I'm talking to a girl and she's speaking to me like I'm asexual. I don't like that. That's got to be the most annoying. Let me give you an example, right? A year ago, I was having lunch with some friends. We're sitting around a table. There's me, another guy, a couple of girls, one of whom I fancied. So we finish lunch and we start chatting about random things. Somebody randomly starts talking about sex. And immediately, the girl that I fancy leaps out of her chair, darts over towards me, and clamps her hands around my ears. She says, "You can't say that! Not with little Tommy here!" I mean, at the time, I didn't know that's what she was saying. I was just happy that she was touching me. Yeah, but all these experiences of mine have led me to feel a strange sort of kinship with someone you wouldn't normally expect. I have recently gained a tremendous amount of respect for girls who go out at night dressed rather skimpily. Now, you know the girls I'm talking about, the girls that like to tread the fine line between wearing clothes and not wearing clothes. And let me tell you, these girls are dedicated. They are outside right now, and it is freezing. Like, who needs a jumper when you've got skin? That's yeah, I actually really, I'll explain why I have such a fondness of these girls, don't I? I admire the struggle. Let me give you an example. So let's take our scantily clad heroine. She's on a night out. She's talking to some guy that she's not that interested in. All of a sudden, she's talking to some guy she's not that interested in. He's talking to her like she's a whore. All of a sudden, he starts feeling her up, and she just snaps. "Hey! Just because I dress provocatively, and I have a sexy, athletic body, it does not mean that I want to fuck you." And I'm like, yeah, go girl. See, I have so much empathy for these women because I have to put up with the exact same thing. I'll be talking to some girl, and who I'm quite interested in. She's talking to me like I'm a 7-year-old boy. All of a sudden, she doesn't start feeling me up, and I just snap. Hey, just because I speak politely, and I have a soft, angelic baby face, it does not mean that I don't want to fuck you. Okay, I have one last story and then I'm going to go. More recently, I started playing football with this bunch of Polish lads. I was hoping that some of their manliness would rub off on me. I was really nervous when I started playing football because I thought it was going to be super awkward. Like, they're just going to be standing around speaking Polish, and I'm just going to be standing there awkwardly. And that's what it's like every weekend. But you know what? I actually kind of like it because I'm quite introverted and antisocial. So I'd actually rather play football with a bunch of Polish lads than a bunch of English lads. Because if they're Polish, then I don't have to speak to them. Yeah, so basically we'll finish playing football and we'll gather around in a circle. They'll crack open a couple of brewskis. None for me, thank you. So they're all there drinking their beer. I'm there suckling on my Ribena Light. Yeah. This one time, I always remember this one time, we finished playing football and this giant, muscular lad took a selfie of himself like this. I was like, okay, fair enough. And then he shoulders up next to me and starts fiddling around with his phone. I glanced down at his phone for 1 second and I discovered much more than I anticipated. He had sent a selfie of himself to some girl. The last thing that the girl had sent to him was a naked picture of herself, which I saw in detail. Now, it wasn't a classy nude. It was scandalous. She's very flexible though, I'll give her that. But obviously I looked away instantly, not out of courtesy or respect, no. I looked away instantly because I'm not exactly sure how this giant testosterone-fueled Polish lad is going to react to me staring at a picture of his naked girlfriend. Either he's going to beat the shit out of me, or he's going to go, "It's pretty cool, right?" Thank you very much.
Well, Tom, everybody. So now I'm going to pass it over to good friend, President of the Lancaster University Writers Society, David Murphy.
Stop. Okay. So, quick plug for Writers Society before anything else. So, we're a society that meets twice a week for sort of writing purposes. Obviously, we help people sort of engineer their writing and give feedback and stuff like that. If you want any more information on writers, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, all the things you people use. So please let us, any questions, come and ask one of us and we'll give you the information you want. Okay, so without further ado, can we come up with some readings for you all? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this is a short story I wrote around the end of last year. So a few people here might have heard it before, but it looks like most people from Comedy Society, so it should all be new. It hasn't really got a title because I'm no good at them, but it goes like this. Friday afternoon, the end of the working week, which would imply it was a time to stop and forget about all the difficulties of life. Unfortunately, it appeared that someone had forgot to read the memo, and I once again found myself assaulted by the sight of Sophia. Casual as she may seem, she was more than my poor mind could handle. Killing a tiny part of me was a dramatic way to put how I felt talking to her, but not an altogether inaccurate one. I have made a discovery that will shake your world to its very core, Sophia announced, not even bothering with a greeting. No, to put it that way doesn't even capture a tenth of the scope of this revelation. Greg. Okay, I said, already regretting about half of my life decisions, but plowing on regardless. Is there a reason you decided to say Greg twice there? Set up a gag, Sophia replied. You don't need to worry about that though, Luke. Otherwise this little section would become kind of pointless, and you know my catchphrase. Under no circumstances should that be allowed to happen. I've literally never heard you say that before. It's my catchphrase from today onwards. That little... No, I need to control myself. Be the adult in the room, since it seems one of us had already abandoned that responsibility. That aside, I said, it doesn't make much sense as a saying anyway. It's really vague and doesn't really mean anything. Or it could mean anything, I suppose. Look, Sophia pleaded, please don't dig so deep into it. It was just a set of gag again, I promise. You're asking me to have a lot of faith in your ability to tell a joke. Ah, that's where you're wrong, Sophia uttered triumphantly, switching back to a smug setting. You're not having faith in my ability to tell a joke, because, after extensive research, I have discovered a terrible secret to our world. Sophia trailed off, looking extremely proud of herself. Did you want me to prompt her? I kept silent. Sorry, I got distracted, Sophia suddenly said. I was watching some ducks. That's why you stopped? Huh, stop what? Telling me this terrible secret. Oh, that. Yeah, we're in a short story or something. In a short story? I really want some roast duck. Stop thinking about ducks. Fine, Sophia said. We can get back to the ducks later. Yes, we're in a short story. But one point... Ah, God, never mind. I'm losing track of myself. Yes, we're in a short story. So you're not meant to have faith in my ability to tell a joke. You're meant to have faith in the author's. Okay, I'm going to come back to the short story thing in a second. But one point first. If we are in a story, the author is the one writing your dialogue. So the fact that you have no comedic skill must come from the fact that they have no comedic skill. That's not true, Sophia protested. Maybe they're just writing me to be an unfunny character. If the choices are between a bad writer and a bad character, I don't think there's really a choice at all. That aside, I said, a short story. What would the point of that be? Who would write about the shit we get up to? Hey now, don't be so harsh. It gives off a bad impression when you point it out like that. You of all people shouldn't be doing so. And why is that? Because you're a shameless self-insert, that's why. If someone is writing about me as a self-insert, they need to seek medical help. That doesn't answer my question about what the point of this is. Well, I guess it's meant to be comedy. The only funny thing here is that statement. That's not fair, Sophia said. Look, I'll tell a joke. You won't be able to deny it then. That was some dubious logic, but I decided to let it slide. Go on then. Okay, just give me a second. Sophia cleared her throat and hummed, putting far more effort into her preparations than I'm sure was necessary. The joke won't be worth it, I can tell you that now. So, you have friends, right? If that's the joke, I'll punch you. No, that's not the joke. Just answer the question. Fine, then yes, I have friends. Well, it doesn't matter how many friends you have, because Jesus will always have disciples. Was that it? I was kind of expecting her to actually tell a good joke to subvert all the build-up, so this ended up being even more disappointing than it should have been. What, did you not like it? Since it was complete nonsense, no. Sophia grinned. Complete nonsense? My Luke, you must not be very cultured. It's actually a very simple joke. Now this logic I have to hear. Okay, so, in German, the word for disciple is Junger. However, if you ignore umlauts, the word Junger actually means younger. So it's really just a pun. Jesus always has younger friends, you know? I was speechless. The levels of idiocy were off the charts. You can't just take a pun from one language and translate it into another. It doesn't make sense anymore. That's not how translations work. Oh, poor, stupid, ignorant little Luke. You're not thinking about the larger scale. Sure, the joke doesn't make any sense in English. When this story is translated into German, the joke will fit perfectly. Proving my point, this is, in fact, a comedy. No one's going to translate this into German. And even if they did, we had a whole conversation about it afterwards, which ruins the whole point. The joke doesn't make sense in any language. Sophia said, pondering the thought. That's actually an excellent point. I guess the moral for today is that in trying to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. I hope you, dear listener, take that back to heart. That was the moral she got from this? I think it's safe to say that Sophia was just retarded. I'm really starting to lose faith in the author here. You're insufferable, I said, the thought slipping out among the chaos. That's what they call me! Okay, I'm going to need you to explain that response to me. Sophia sighed. That's my catchphrase. I guess it wasn't the best time to use it, but it just seemed to fit too well. I had to say it. Wasn't your catchphrase under no circumstances should that be allowed to happen or something? Huh? How did you get that from? I've never said that before in my life. I'm actually going to kill her one day. She deserves it. You can't kill me, you know, Sophia said. I'm actually inspired by the author's favourite fictional character. She was based off of someone else. Who? Wait, I said. Wasn't there a character called Sophia who was generally annoying and had the catchphrase, that's what they call me, inquiry in the house? On the one hand, I wanted to be impressed, but the level of knowledge and dedication to Corey in the house needed to be able to write something like that was a little disturbing. I don't think I'm okay with it. Well, I'm surprised to know, was all Sophia had to say in response. I thought you were meant to be I thought you were meant to be the one who didn't know about the meta aspects of the author. Isn't this a plot hole? Damn it, she was right. Continuity was falling apart around me. This is a second strike, author, do you hear me? Or should I call you Luke if I'm a self-insert and all? Since it seems that you are on board with the meta aspects of this story now, Sophia asked, is there anything else you want to know? I guess you never told me what those Gregs at the beginning were for, I said. You told me it was for a gag, but you just forgot all about them. Did they have any meaning at all? Oh, yeah, those, Sophia said, regaining the excitement from the very beginning of the story. They were actually really important. It was part of a cryptic message hidden in the first section of the story. A cryptic message that needed you to say Greg. Well, the G was the important bit. The author just needed to start the first letter of those two sentences with a G. So he had me say Greg twice. You mean he was too lazy to figure out actual sentences, so just chose the first word he thought of and stuck it in twice? I think we were approaching levels of laziness previously thought impossible. Honestly, why even go for a joke like that if you can't be bothered to do it properly? The often must be really bad. I guess that means the first letters of each sentence of the opening start something then? Yeah, that's right. They spell out, this is GG really clever. So they were pointless anyway. Given how the rest of the story has gone, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. Wait, I said, wasn't the first word Friday? How can the message start with this if you're talking about the first letters? Well, I don't know. You started in your internal monologue. How am I meant to know what happens? I just made that message up. I had no words. Incidentally, if you take the last letters of each sentence from the first 13 sentences, you get the message, sounding. No, I can't take it anymore. Third strike, you're out, author. There's nothing to be gained from dragging this on any longer. The whole thing was pointless from the start. Please end it now. Under no circumstances can that be allowed to happen. I fucking hate you, Luke.
Thanks, Luke. So only fair that seems I'm representing right. I might as well read something that I've written. I didn't technically write what I'm about to read because it's a fan poem, and I was inspired to read it when Tom talked about dating in his stand-up because it's horrid. So have anyone here heard of the gay dating app Grindr? Yeah. Thank you. I recognise you from it. So I once thought I'd write a fan poem of all messages from Grindr. So I googled Grindr, that was a mistake. So these are some of the messages I found through Google, some of the worst messages I could find. I hope you all enjoy. It's called A Symphony of Grindr. I'm having a funeral for my fish. Hey, I'm looking for a cute top. I want to lick your butt and watch Adventure Time. You're black and Korean. How did that happen? I'm not gay, I'm a straight boy. Unless you are dyslexic, in which case I'm truly sorry. What do I need to do to get your cum in my throat? Pay my tuition? I want an iPad. Is which a name or an adjective? Do you believe Scotland should be an independent country? I'm the best conversationalist since Hitler. Minus the anti-Semitism. I also have a bad pick of sushi from last night. That's so sketchy it's unreal. I'll be at the church in an hour. A cockroach can bite 50 times harder than its own body weight, just so you know. That sounds all kinds of illegal. I'm at the hospital, horny, visiting a friend. He has a brain tumour, but I'm horny as fuck. That's a collection of real messages. Peter, do you want to go next?
Hello. Oh, fuck. Shit. Hello, I'm here. I have to admit, I don't actually have anything creepy or anything really that funny. Like, I didn't even know I was going to be reading out until like half an hour back, and I didn't even know I was going to be in Lancaster today until like a week back. So I'm just organised as fuck. So like, even if I had known, I probably wouldn't have gone around to writing anything. So what I'm going to read out is just another story, which so one of the only ones I have on my phone, and it's also somewhat depressing and also quite shit. So please don't like throw tomatoes at me or something. Like I'm trying my best. Like right, I just have to unlock this shit. Right. Love you. Right. Okay. Though he would talk and laugh and surround himself with company, he always seemed alone to me. I'd catch him staring at a wall just a moment too long, or he'd stay in work a few hours too late, and I would know. I cannot tell if he appeared to others as he did to me, or if I knew it simply because he was my brother, or perhaps I didn't know it, only seeing his solitude after it had killed him. Perhaps I could have saved him, could have told him that I loved him more. I could have told the party what I saw and had them help him, or perhaps not.
Perhaps his flaws were as deep as his genetics, the sins of his father, perhaps, and the sins of mine too. After his death, I received a communication from the Moscow director, a video meeting so she could pay her respects. She was the oldest director, and had known both me and my brother almost our entire lives. I suspected she was the reason I had been fast-tracked onto the director's program in the first place, although I had never asked her why. The conversation had been like all of our conversations, with the aloof informality that lies between familial care and true friendship. Before the conversation had ended, she gave me a look that always reminded me of the child I used to be. You are the object of my last remaining bond, and even one friend can be considered one too many in our line of work. I fear that you understand why your brother decided to take his life more than you care to admit. She stared at me a few seconds longer, making sure that the words had sunk in. Be careful, old friend. We all need you. I need you. Finally, she averted her gaze and severed the video link between us. I worked harder than ever in the weeks that followed, hoping that my duties would distract me from my grief. It was almost spring, so it was a busy time of year. Spring was when people were hopeful about the future, and we had to make sure to utilise this. Went through the language being used in newspapers, TV broadcasts, public speeches, and also the semantic structures and word densities, subtly making the population more optimistic, more loyal. Hope has always been necessary to the plan, and the duty fell to us to foster it. In the quiet moments I could steal, I would sometimes catch my reflection and see my brother. I feared that his fault was a hereditary one, a decimal point that should have been rounded off centuries ago. I feared it was a trait that I shared. I am not like him, I would tell myself. I am not flawed. Still, though, in the times between wakefulness and sleep, I would dream of his death, but it would be me instead. I found a journal of his, so long after the fact. At first I did not want to read it, scared that it would show me something that was too similar to myself. But curiosity forced me to look at what he had written. Here, in excruciating detail, was his soul laid bare. Do they suffer as I do, he wrote one day. Do they pretend as I do? Do they hope, like me, that the simulacrum of happiness can one day replace the real thing? Or am I unique, the anomaly in an otherwise successful genetic experiment? I could see now his loneliness in more detail. The brooding ruminations, the twists and turns that eventually wear down the machinery of the mind, the endless exhausting reflections that in small amounts is indistinguishable from the symptoms of love. And as I read these words, I wondered to myself, how could I have not said anything, or even tried to save him? It was already spring when the Moscow director came to visit Washington. I greeted her at the plane and took her to the national park just outside the city. Can you tell me something? I asked her, as soon as I felt the time was appropriate. She nodded, as if giving me permission, already knowing what I wanted to ask. Did we know about my brother? Was it his genetics that made him kill himself? I asked. I could feel her hesitating, considering carefully the words that she was going to use. Yes, we knew your genealogy, and knew that you and he had the potential for this disposition. Then why did you let our genetic line continue? Why let this flaw exist? She looked at me then, with an expression that provides neither understanding nor confusion, but somehow both at once. Because it is no flaw. It's what Camus, Sartre, and thousands of others who have advanced civilization had. How much of the human spirit would we have destroyed if we had prevented you and your brother from coming into existence? She was silent as she tilted her head up at the sky, finally looking away from me. As I watched, I could see her tracing the constellations with her eyes. Take some time off, she told me, finally. Your health is suffering. Maybe it's even time for retirement. But I haven't found a replacement, I answered, not even protesting that her health was worse than mine. We never expected you to, she said. The plan is slowly advancing, old friend, and we are becoming superfluous. Now that you are gone, we will only have 3 directors, and when I am gone, only 2. And someday, none? Someday, she replied. In the spring, I experienced what life is like on the outside of the party. Days merged together, lacking the discipline I used to find in my work. I drank more and spent my nights with people I didn't know. When I looked in the mirror, I saw my brother's features written plainly across my face. Sometimes I would imagine him watching me. I would smile at the mirror, and he would smile back. Sorry, it's a bit shit, but yeah, I was got one more from us, and then we'll move on to your second stand-up. So, Mike, go up.
So the following is a performance piece called My Voice. And I'm left-handed. I thought I was holding it in my right hand, but I'm not. My voice, it changes. My voice, it oscillates. Let me introduce myself. I am the reading voice. I am the currently talking to a lot of people and hope that they like my tone voice. Sorry, would you mind saying hello to my anxious voice? Would that be okay? Are you sure? Am I speaking loud enough? Is this right? Do you hear that knock on the door? Too, do you? What if it's people wanting money or it's an Amazon delivery? I'm still in my pajamas, they'll judge me. Suck dickheads, make way for fucking anger. Those pricks, those ones over there, congregating in the kitchen corner without me. It's called everyday chat for a reason. It's meant to be inclusive, isn't it? But they screwed me. To my arsehole housemates said I'm not a functioning adult. Fuck off and suck a dick. Please stop. I don't want to deal with this. I'm the sad one. My favourite game is can you go 24 hours without crying? I'm a tangle of mess who'll never truly be happy. So good at pretending. When did I lose the real me? When sadness appears, I force myself to be human. Oi, what are you saying again? You better listen to your inner critic, fam. I'm a bad friend. I shouldn't let them pick up the pieces. I'm a rose with many thorns. Don't come close, I'll prick you. Why did I say that? What am I doing? What is the point? You're too childish. You laugh too much. Change yourself. They don't like you. You need to be perfect. Hey, it's okay. Believe me, I'm the voice of rationale. The one that says it's fine not to tick off everything in my to-do list. It's okay to have bad days. They only last 24 hours, not a lifetime. Mistakes are learning curves. Use them to grow from. You're only human. This voice reasons. My lovely voice of reason. This is the voice that overpowers the anxieties of everyday life. This is my lead voice. This is a voice that I choose not to silence.
Hello everyone. Hello, welcome back from the interval. So we are the Lancashire University and Comedy Institute, and we're going to be doing some sort of long form improv based on a couple of the stories that the writers that you're going to do. Just give a quick explanation before they start. So we've got our performers up here. Someone will come up and read their story, and then basically we're going to see 3 scenes inspired by something in the story. Now, so they're not going to be acting out the story. So that's not what they're doing. It's basically just going to take like one element from the story, whatever it might be, the setting, the character, maybe even just one line, and that'll just inspire a scene. It probably won't even be related to the story very much at all, but you know, it's just a source of inspiration. So there'll be 3 scenes, and then we'll have another writer, and then there'll be another 3 scenes. And basically, I'm not going to explain all the mechanics of it, because it'll be too long. Basically, all you need to know is that when the scene ends, one of the performers is just going to come to the front, as Carl's demonstrating, and just run across. And that's when the scene has ended. And when the scene's ended and the next one starts, it's like a brand new scene. There's not like a follow-on story, it's a brand new scene, but again, still based on that one story from the writer's society. Okay? Explain that not very well, I apologise. Okay, so we're going to have our first writer up now to read. It might not be a story, I said story about actually, no, it could be anything. I think it's Peter? Yep.
Okay, this is a story I wrote very recently. I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if it's easy to improvise.
I'm the handsome assistant, the magician, you know how the magicians always have a really cool apprentice, to help them out. That's what I'm here to do.
Peter is my phone.
Your what?
The phone.
Oh yeah,
the
phone. Yeah. You look a lot like a phone, I'm told. One of my greatest qualities. Sorry.
Right. Ring. He He sat alone in the dark. Droplets of rain trailed down. Droplets of rain trailed down the windows of his apartment. Behind them, red and yellow lights raced through the streets, water splashing under the wheels. This part of LA was never jammed, and there were always some fuckers who made a fun out of it. Then he looked at the blurred shapes slipping through, exploding with sound. For a reason unknown to himself, he thought about demons.
Ring, ring, ring.
He was a rational man, tried to be. He saw life as a tree of possibilities, with each choice sprouting into a number of outcomes. His job was to distinguish the best set of outcomes and try to see how far they would carry him. Some choices were more important than the others. They shook the branches of the choice tree and then cut it down. Answering the phone was one of the such choices.
Ring, ring, ring.
There were only two ways to go. He would answer it or he would let it ring. The time in which he had to make a choice was finite. They called at full hours. The first call at 5 p.m. and the last one at 9 p.m. Each call consisted of a fixed amount of 5 sets of rings. Each ring consisting of 3 short buzzes. One set of rings, he counted, lasted about 5 seconds. There were 8 seconds in between each set. This gave him 1 minute and 5 seconds to answer the phone, if he had chosen to do so. Of course, he could make his choice before they would make their last call at 9, but he never did.
Ring, ring, ring.
13 seconds left. He had thought about a trolley problem. 5 people are tied to one track, and a single person is tied to another. The runaway trolley is rushing towards the track with 5. By pulling a lever, he could change the path of the train and direct it to the track with a single person. The question was, would he dare to do that? If he interacted with the natural cause of events, would he commit a murder? Was it better than not taking an action and allowing the death of 4 more people? What choice would he make if he was tied to one of the tracks?
Ring, ring, ring.
He picked up a phone. Hello, he said. Beep. This is BioWash Incorporated. We have run into a problem with our laundrette on the East 7th Street. One of the dryers started to smoke. We presume it's the fault with the circuitry. One of our personnel, Timothy Simmons, would meet you there. Please see to this issue ASAP. Beep. He held the phone by his ear for a long time, as if expecting the pre-recorded message to play out again. Then he put it down. He didn't know why they couldn't just leave the voicemails. Security reasons? Did they recognize his voice each time he said hello into the void? They were always so cautious. He brought out a pencil and a sheet of paper. He scribbled down East 7th Street and Timothy Simmons. Then folded the paper and put it into his pocket. He looked through the windows, overseeing the night in LA, rain blushing out the lights. The thunder crackled somewhere distant. He left the apartment. They knew how to cover their tracks. He tried to get closer to them several times, and each time they saw through this and punished him. Although harsh as they may have seemed, those punishments were nothing in comparison to what they would do if he didn't pick up the phone.
Ring, ring, ring.
Another day, another choice to make. How many days did he have left? He didn't know. What he knew was that if he didn't pick up the phone, everything would be over. There would be no other calls, at least not the pleasant sort. Answering the call, on the other hand, would mean prolonging the game. The game wasn't necessarily unpleasant, but there was no clear idea of winning, and the rules were very strict.
Ring, ring, ring.
He walked over and picked up the phone. This time, however, he didn't say anything. He listened to the other humming on the other side and waited. It's me, he said finally. Beep. Hey man, it's Pizza Gonzalo's here. We're short-staffed and we would really use a spare hand. You know, it's Halloween tonight and the kids are going crazy. Just hop to our place and run 2 deliveries at 16th Miller's Drive and Fair Terrace 8. Got that? 16th Miller Drive and Fair Terrace 8. He scribbled down the addresses. Remember to dress up and give those kids some spook. It's Halloween, am I right? Cheers, bro. Beep. 2 jobs this time. Was it simply about intimidation, or would they want him to do anything else? He hid the paper into his pocket and zipped up his jacket. He would hate to do this stuff on Halloween. The last job didn't go the way he thought. Nothing didn't go the way he thought. It was a catastrophe, a roaring eye of cyclone, and he was right in the middle of it. The blood on his hands was still fresh. Ring, ring. I'm not doing it, he shouted to the phone. It's over, leave me alone. The silence of the line lasted longer than usual. Beep. Good evening, this is Margaret Briggs, the Dean of Charter Oak High School. I regret to inform you that your son Brandon has got an F for his psychology exam, which may result in him failing the class. I know he's a good kid, but his accomplishments must meet our educational standards. Please see to it that he is well prepared. Goodbye, Beep. His breath was jittery, his eyes flickering to the sides. They knew the name of his son. The phone in his hand felt heavier with every heartbeat. Slowly, he raised it back to his ear. You don't know where he is, he said. Again, the silence followed. But he knew that they were listening. Kings and queens of LA, they were always listening. Beep. This is Carl Hansen, the estate agent who contacted about the property at 5 Parkland Ave in Santa Ana. The owner of the flat has agreed to arrange a meeting on Friday, 4 p.m. I expect to see you there, sir. Beep. His vision became dark. The phone was shaking in his hand. They knew their location. He tried to hide them, but it wasn't enough. It was never enough. What am I to do tonight? He asked.
We're here all year, the dynamic duo of Peters.
Last orders at the bar, last orders at the bar, it's 9 p.m. Last orders at the bar. Would you like another drink, sir? Alright. Want to be another milk?
Sure.
Alright. Cheers, pal. Oh, I'm not drinking. Do you often come here alone?
Bring my milk in, please.
You not got any friends? Family?
So, we don't get on. Can't find anything else.
I see. Dad? You're a piece of shit. How dare you drink milk without me? I don't want to hear about you ever again. Do you hear me?
That's fine, so I don't like you either.
Well, it really sounds like you have a tough family life.
Yeah, I just hate myself. He's just an arsehole.
Well, what was he like as a kid?
He was still an arsehole, like straight out of the womb.
Straight out of the womb, you
Yeah.
say? What did you do straight out of the womb to be an arsehole? It's our son! Wow. I'm proud of him already.
Yeah, push me right in the balls.
Right in the balls.
Yeah,
straight
can I
away. I did say last orders, but go on. This is an interesting tale here. Yeah, who indeed. So,
Cal's a shot for without.
Cal. I'll get the boy to do it. Boy! Yes, sir? Shit. While he cleans that, why don't you tell me about his teenage years? What do you get up to there?
Well, we have a brief period in his teenagers, but we thought he might turn out to be okay. Right when they go through puberty, when we're dreading the most.
Oh, you're
It
kidding.
seemed like he got okay.
Why, what did you do then? Dad? You're actually alright.
Think so.
Nah.
Yeah, it was like 2 seconds, but we really had hope.
Well, I'm all for optimism. Hey, your pint's looking a little empty there.
Another refill.
Oh, go on then. We've got a little bit more to talk about, I guess. I'll get the boy to do it. Boy! Yes, sir? Refill. Okay. Skim milk. Full fat. It's just for 1 cow. Anyway. So, now you're in this position with your son. It's awkward, yeah. I think you'll rekindle with him.
I don't know, really. I mean, he doesn't drink milk. That's basically all my interests.
Yeah,
I don't know how I'll reconcile.
I do see you in here quite often here at the milk bar. Is that honey milk, sir? It's alright. Here you go.
Thank you.
What are you doing with the cow, boy?
Just milked it. nice and cold. And the working in the hot bar, you know.
That boy makes me feel uncomfortable.
Well, you see, I've got some parental troubles of my own.
Really?
Yes, ever since boy was born.
What was your son?
Well, yes, wasn't that clear?
No, you didn't use his name.
Yes, I did.
That was called Boy.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you better be. Anyway, ever since he was born, he's been a little rapscallion, always trying to touch things he's not supposed to touch.
Ew, a knife! Ew, a knife!
No!
Gun!
No! Why are these things in the emergency room?
I'm the only person left who can give birth, and they all turn out shit.
Drugs!
Oh yeah, I forgot. I fucked your wife.
Yeah, she gets around.
Oh, I didn't know you worked here too.
You want some more milk?
For now.
Okay. Wait. Are you a full fat or a skimmed guy? Because now, we don't just have the one cow, if you know what I'm saying.
Mr. Peters,
Hi, yes.
do you want to take seats?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's about your son.
My son.
Yes, you see, your son has been taking psychology classes here at the school.
No, come on.
Well, roughly 5 years, Mr. Peters. Yes, but
And you've done nothing to try and dissuade it. Coax them off them with a few PE classes.
well, I mean, we did give him some physical education, sir. We weren't trying to scare him off, but that explains quite a lot. It's just his grades in psychology have been frankly appalling.
Oh, good.
Do you want me to read you a couple of answers?
Okay, yeah, go on, yeah.
So this was on the brain bit of the exam. About brains.
Yeah.
And the first question was, which part of the brain is responsible for emotion?
Oh, they wouldn't have.
Well, I'd like to think you would. He's been studying it for 5 years.
So, today is the exam. I hope you're all ready. We're going to do it a little differently today. I'm going to ask the questions and you're just going to shout out the answers. And I'll write it down and document it up on the shelf. So, question 1. What part of the brain is responsible for emotion? Yes.
The elbow!
Elbow. Question 2. Which? Yes.
The elbow again?
Well, that was right, actually.
So he got one right. Well, he did get one right, but then he did also say that demons were responsible for most thought processes. And elbows, weirdly.
That's all we teach in our household. Give the old demon elbow 1, 2. That's what we say.
Okay, so I like to do this with parents to kind of try and work out where the problems lie. So
Right, yeah.
we're going to do some role play.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll pretend to be little Peter. Peter Peters. And
Sorry, I forgot we named him now.
telling. So we'll just play through roles, and then you behave like you would if I were you. Okay, so I'll
Wait, sorry, who am I?
You're playing yourself.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing little Peter Peters.
Peter, get in here.
Yes, Father.
Take your backpack off.
Okay, Father, I'll hang it up with the coats.
Okay, and for the next part of the exam, we're going to be doing a little bit of role play. So you're going to play you.
Demon!
Okay, yes, that's good. You're going to play you, and I'm going to play your dad. Okay, so you're going to go over there. Where are the coats? Here, right? Interesting, interesting, yeah. I might have to tell the principal about this later so he can speak to your dad. But, alright. And, where is the mine? Is that one right? No.
Okay, let me tell you all about my
Peter, use your head.
dates. Okay, my head?
We don't put the backpacks up with the coats.
Where do we put the backpacks?
We hang them on the door.
Where's the door?
There's no doors. Comes a little psychology question for you, son, because I've heard you've been studying psychology.
Yes, Dad, I was about to tell you about...
And you didn't tell me or your mother about this?
Yeah, no, I tell you every day when I come home from school, I tell you all the things that I learned today.
Yes, but they're all wrong, so I don't listen.
Okay. So, I had this test today, and I failed it.
You did what?
I failed the test.
And what was the subject?
Psychology.
Oh, good. Well, you're out of that class, then.
I don't think that's how school works, sir. I mean, Dad.
No, call me sir. I like it more.
Okay, sir, so, if you know so much, what part of the brain is responsible for emotion? That was the first question.
The elbow, son.
Oh. Yeah, that explains it, doesn't it?
Eddie,
Okay. Hello, that's my name.
I know you're all about this, up close and personal, really getting to know the parents' sort of outlook.
Yeah, role play.
Yeah, but crucially, you can't sit on their knee.
Why
It's
not?
kind of a biggie.
But it's what all the kids are doing.
To you, or
Whoa. Only my own kids sit on my knee.
okay, good.
And also, occasionally, like, nephews. But that's fine, too. So, I just don't see what the problem is, sir.
The problem is, it's very inappropriate that when you're discussing how their child is doing, you sit on their lap and put your arm around them and talk really close to them like this.
Is everything alright at home?
No.
Oh, how about we do some role playing? Come here, wifey. Oh, no. Let's talk it through. How was your day? Let's put you to bed. See, that helped, didn't it? Yeah. And this is all I do to the parents.
Daddy, today's Halloween. Can we go trick-or-treating? Because kids
Yes,
in Halloween go
yes,
crazy.
yes. Go trick or treating.
Let's go. Dad, please, Dad. Let's go.
Yeah, yes, we'll go.
Okay, let's go, now.
Hey, are you going to a costume on?
Am I in a costume, Dad?
Oh.
I'm dressed up like a grown-up.
I don't know why you're taking my clothes.
Can we
we
go?
go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, where's the door?
How old are you?
5.
Okay. Well, there's the first house, so let's just ring the doorbell and see if anyone answers.
Oh,
Michael, that's the door. Will you go and get it?
Yes, I'll get the door.
I can't
Pet.
get it. Oh, thank you. Michael, our wall's falling off. That's alright, I'm the builder. I'll just hold it in place.
Are you getting our wallpaper from Vista Print? Was it my Hello, are you after sweeties?
Yes!
Oh, they are
Trick-or-treating.
Yes, I love Halloween. That's why they call me Spooky Michael.
That's why they call me Spooky Gertrude.
Do you have the sweets, pet?
I'll go and get the sweets.
Thank you very much. Stop
There
There is our saving.
Well,
one comes from David, I believe.
First of all, I want to say thank you to the Comedy Institute for having us. It's been great, and I'm just going to quickly read a poem called Pascucci's Cup. Vacant and expressionless hollows, eyes missing and soul reached away. In battle he was a warrior, a soldier, death-defying, brave, valiant and strong. Now he had been slain, and death had metamorphosized his bones. Cracks paint the skull in fine strokes of deep black emptiness. Scalp removed and with one clean cut, with a cool red liquid for a brain. The skull was at the lips of the tyrant, who laughed at his fallen enemy. Teeth pulled out by force, turned into necklace and charms. Bones fashioned into instruments for an orchestra that played a grave symphony. The music played into his ears, with him sipping from a cup of bone. Pascucci placed the skull down, where he sits among the many prisoners. A warning to enemies, perhaps, or trophies, the heads of those slain. All of them stare with never-ending apathy, forever stuck in the court of the mad king.
So you're here for the music lessons? Yes, I want to learn. What would you like to learn? The one that plays, Oh yes! Yes! The ocarina. That's exactly what I was talking about. But like the recorder, it's shit. Yes. Well, I don't have an ocarina. Oh. But I do have a harp. Would you like to learn that instead? My second choice. Oh, I'm such a good teacher. Let me just fetch it. Okay. Now I will warn you, it is made out of human bones. But that won't affect the acoustics, only how good you feel playing it. You mean it will make me feel better or worse? That depends on the person, to be honest. Well, I've never met human bones before, so let's see how it goes. Is this what I do? Is it? Oh, yeah, sorry, I thought you were going to play me something. Oh, no, is this the way to hold it? Yes, no, give it a go. Okay. I'm glad you cottoned on to the fact you had to make the noises with your mouth. Oh, I don't do that, do I? No, I do that. Oh, yes, you're doing well. Well done. Oh, thank you. I've got master of this already. I'll just do some accompaniment. Wait, is that a musical term? C. Is that a musical term? Obrigado. English. I'm sorry, I thought you asked for my language. Oh, sorry. No, yes. English. Ah, great. This is my bony bassoon. Go on, start me off. Okay.
You know what this means? I think this is the work. Coyotes.
Not the coyotes.
Oh yeah, them again. Them and their soul-leaking, eye-holing powers. They're gonna run this town into the ground.
We need to take that. One of us should go into cover in the coyote den.
The other one should wait in the car. I'm gonna wait in the car.
Okay.
Oh, these will be a great exhibit at the zoo. In you go. Come on.
Wait, I'm a chief inspector.
Hello, Mr. Zooman.
Yes?
I've got 2 coyotes here for the new exhibit.
Wait, why is that man
I
named?
keep telling you, I'm a human being.
I'm sorry, that's a human being.
A what?
A human being.
No. Coyote. Coyote. Yeah. I found them in the desert with this one. Are you going to tell me he's a human being too?
No, this one is definitely a coyote. Have you seen this?
Can you do that?
Do this.
Well, to be honest, this one seemed more human than this one.
What? Tell you what, I'll set this one free.
Alright, yeah.
Off you go. Onto the streets.
Come on, are you going to teach me some tricks? You're going to be my next exhibit.
Bye.
Bye. Come and see the great coyote. The great coyote, bring your children, totally safe.
Detective, what are you doing behind that glass?
You gotta help me. I think the coyotes run the zoo.
What?
Great, isn't it?
Are you a coyote? Tell me, goddammit. Are you a coyote?
Am I a human being?
A what?
I was afraid you might say that. Put the gun down.
Oh. Thank you for opening the door.
Now I have 2 coyotes.
Now wait. Not again.
Well, I'm being attacked.
Shit.
Shit.
I would like alone.
How's your credit score?
Ooh.
Right, have you got your national insurance number? I'll just look you up on the database.
I could read it to you.
Yeah.
1. 1. 2. 1. 1. P6.
Oh, Mr. Coy. Yes, what's the loan for, sorry?
A house on a beach.
House on a beach, right. Okay. You don't want a mortgage, you just want a...
Ooh. A regular loan.
Okay. Right, well, how much do you need?
Enough for a house. Woof. So if you'll come this way, this is our hottest new balcony Palm Springs beach house.
Ooh.
You like?
What's the neighborhood like?
Lots of sand, lots of rich people. They let you walk your dog along the...
Am I allowed to have a dog?
Oh yes, dogs are loved around these parts.
Very good. Woof. I'm a human.
You own a little fella.
I have a wife and 3 children.
Oh, where are they?
I lost them in the desert.
That's quite sad.
I've not seen them in 5 years.
Well, there are some nightclubs down on the strip if you want to get back in the game, if you know what I mean.
Woof. I am going to.
Well, I guess I might see you there one day.
Oh, we do. eat.
If you so wish.
Woof. Thank you for doing this. I really feel special. But I've got something to say.
Oh, what is it?
Despite having 3 children, I've never actually, before.
Well, let's make tonight the night.
Let's watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Woof, 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 woof.
Oh my God.
Yes, child, it's me.
No.
Mr. Bones!
Oh, Mr. Bones. You can't come for me now. I'm only 6.
You're fine, it's fine.
I don't have a disease.
Not you all.
Oh no, I've got bone disease. I felt it in my stomach.
Time me to take your bones.
No, not my bones, they're diseased. Surely that means you wouldn't want them.
Oh, that's what I'm after.
Oh no, I need them to move.
Not when you're dead.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, let's get something.
Did you get any bones today, honey? I got one. Oh, his arm. Oh, and it's diseased, is it? Yes. I'll put it in the stew. I think it's scrumptious. Oh, it will be. It's bone stew.
Hi, I couldn't have noticed you didn't take anything else. I thought you might want to have a look at the whole package. And no, I did not mean anything.
Stew. I mean, there's only really enough for 1.5 of us right now, so we could do with some extra bone, if you know what I mean. Yes, our marriage is very loveless.
I don't think I should be hearing this. I'm 6.
I'll put the stew back on. You work on the bone. Okay. Well, what do you mean? Oh, not the sex thing. No, which bones? The pelvis.
Right, well, get to work.
Lie down for me, dear child.
Oh no. Oh.
Take your bones.
Oh no, I can't get up again.
Oh, bones. Where's my wife go? I was just checking on the kids. Oh, you got his pelvis. I see him wriggle all the way out. We might want more later.
That was all I agreed to when I responded to the ad. Just the pelvis and the arm.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't fuck around on Craigslist, should you?
Honey, Jason or Clint, I think I'm back today.
Oh, maybe we should do something about it.
Yeah, they probably should.
Yeah.
Have a look.
Alright.
I'll try ringing his mobile.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
But I'm saving the contacts.
Yeah, where would you? Hello?
Oh, you picked up. Hi, is this my son's phone?
Wrong number.
No, this definitely is the right number.
Shit. Say shit when you give the game away.
Oh, have you seen my son? Have you seen my son? Boy, is that you?
Oh,
Yes, that's me with a normal jaw that hasn't been taken out.
Where are you, son? Where are you?
The park.
Oh, your mother and I are going to come straight there and find you in the park. Okay?
Why do we make our house in the park? I think we might have to dress up as him or something. We still have his clothes. We do still have his clothes. We can put that in his shoe. Yeah, gross. You wear his trousers, I'll wear the jumper. I think maybe one of us should wear the whole thing. Maybe one of us should wear the whole thing. That makes no sense. Whatever you say, so, honey. It is a patriarchy after all. Hello, welcome to the park. happy, happy family after all.
Yes, many long, happy years of loving each other still to come. Isn't that right, son?
Because you're only 6 after all.
How do you tell to this one? I think this plan is majorly backfired on us. We never got to eat the stew.
Okay, so apparently I'm ending this now. Yeah, so that was the show. Thank you all for coming. Just want to say thank you to all our improvisers. Thank you to all our writers for providing stories, for Tom and Christina doing stand-up. Yes, as David said, we're going to talk to the Right Society. Let's get involved. Similarly, if you want to get involved in comedy, come talk to one of us, House President, etc. If you want to get involved in, like improv, stand-up, things like that, just come talk to us. Also, if you enjoyed the show, we've got we do them every 2 weeks. 2 weeks today. It is Gamers.
Yep.
Yep. It is a collaboration with the Gamers Society. You don't have to be a member of the Gamers Society or Comedy at Home. It's still free. It's just a show. It just might be comedy based around video games. It might not be